God is here tonight, friend, awake and watching, before you even think to ask Him to be, not dozing when your own eyes grow heavy, not distracted by anything bigger than one more tired person lying down in the dark, here in this quiet room, wide awake on your behalf, so that for once you do not have to be. Maybe you have been on watch all day without ever calling it that. The list that keeps running behind your eyes. The email you are already drafting for tomorrow before today has even finished. The small alarm in your chest that will not quite switch off. Even now, even here, even with the lights already down, you have been standing guard since morning, and you are tired of standing guard. That kind of watching is exhausting work, even on the nights when nothing ever actually goes wrong. The mind was never built to run the night shift and the day shift both, back to back, without ever being relieved. No wonder you are tired in a way. A full 8 hours has not quite been fixing lately. What you have been missing lately is not sleep, it is relief. So here is what we will do tonight. You will step down from the watch, not because the world stops needing watching, because someone else has already taken this shift, and has never once, in every night that came before this one, fallen asleep at his post. If you know how to pray, pray now. Even one word is enough. Watch. If you do not know how, that is all right too. He had already taken up the post before you thought to ask. There is nothing to earn here, and no shift you have to finish before He lets you go. You were never really the one keeping this house safe. Not by staying alert, not by running one more lap of worry before the lights went out. He is already at the door, and at the window, and at the foot of the bed, awake. The way a mother rises without being called the moment a child stirs in the next room. Breathe in and let the watch change. Breathe out and let your own tired eyes finally close. In slow, like handing something heavy to a hand stronger than yours. Out slower, like that same hand saying, "I have it now." Asleep. Let the room grow quiet around you. Let the walls fall away and the day fall away, until there is only the dark and your slow breath, and the nearness of the one whose eyes do not close, keeping watch so that yours finally can. You are not the first tired traveler to lie down afraid of what the night might bring. Long before locks on doors and lamps left burning in the hallway, people slept in open country, on hillsides, on the road, with nothing between them and the dark but trust in a God who did not sleep either. Some of them wrote that trust down in a handful of lines short enough to remember and sing on the road, walking up toward the hills at evening, wondering whether what waited up there was danger or help. You are borrowing their song tonight, not inventing your own comfort from nothing. You only have to be tired enough to receive it. There is an old psalm for exactly this hour, a traveler's psalm, prayed by people climbing toward home in failing light, built around one plain claim that the whole night rests on. The one who keeps you does not rest, so that you finally can. People have carried these 8 short lines into dark rooms for 3,000 years. Let them be your prayer now. We will go slowly, one line at a time, with long quiet in between, so there is room in each one to rest. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. Picture the traveler who first sang this line. Evening coming on, the road still climbing, and ahead of him, hills going dark against a fading sky. Hills could hide a robber as easily as a shelter. Hills could hide help as easily as harm. He does not know yet which one he is looking at. He only knows to lift his eyes toward them and to keep asking where his help is actually coming from. You have your own hills tonight. Maybe it is the ceiling over the bed, the one you keep staring up into in the dark. Maybe it is the shape of tomorrow, still climbing ahead of you, still unclear whether what waits up there is trouble or relief. The psalm does not tell you the hills are safe. It tells you something better. Your help was never coming from the hills themselves. So lift your eyes past the shape of the worry, past the outline of the thing you cannot quite make out in the dark, toward the one who is actually the source. You do not have to solve what is on the hill tonight. You only have to look toward where the help really comes from. Say this plainly, because it is easy to miss in the dark. He does not ask you to climb the hill tonight to go looking for the help yourself, the way you might feel obligated to go chase down an answer, or a fix, or a plan before you are allowed to close your eyes. The looking is the whole of what is asked of you right now. The simple lifting of your eyes toward the source. The going, the finding, the actually bringing the help down from wherever it lives. None of that is your job tonight. That part belongs entirely to Him. Yours is only to look up, however tired the looking is, and let what comes come. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Here is the name, plain and unhurried. Not luck, not whatever happens to work out. The Lord, and no vague force borrowed from somewhere else. The psalmist does not leave you guessing where the help is from. He says it outright, in the very next breath after asking the question. And notice what kind of help this is. It's not a neighbor who might be home, might not. The one who made heaven and earth. The same hands that hung every star you cannot even see tonight through the curtain are the hands holding whatever small, specific trouble kept you up past your bedtime. If He was not too great a task for the sky, He is not too tired for you. You do not need help scraped together at the last minute. Some patched together comfort assembled just for tonight. This help has been here since the beginning. Older than the hills you were looking at a moment ago, older than the fear itself. Think of it this way, if it helps. Whatever kept you staring at the ceiling tonight, held up next to a maker of heaven and earth, next to someone who set every star spinning in its own orbit before you were ever born, is small enough to fit inside one closed hand. Not unimportant to Him. It is never that. And this psalm never once suggests your worry is too small to matter. only small enough that carrying it costs him nothing at all. The way carrying a single leaf costs a strong wind nothing, even while the leaf itself feels like it is being carried by something enormous. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. A foot that slips in the dark is an old fear, older than paved roads and porch lights, from the days when a night walk on a hill path could mean a real fall. The psalm answers that fear directly. Your foot will not be moved, not because the path is smooth, because someone is watching where you step, even in the dark, even when you cannot see the ground yourself. And then the line that gives this whole night its shape. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Every human watchman eventually nods. Even the most faithful guard has to be relieved, has to close his eyes for a few minutes leaning on his own spear. This keeper does not because he is stronger than tired, because he does not carry the kind of tiredness that needs relieving. He will not slumber. Let that be the phrase you keep close tonight. Low, almost a whisper. He will not slumber. Whatever you were half listening for even in your sleep, whatever kept one ear open long after the rest of you wanted to rest, you can let that listening go now. Someone else already has it. Say it once more now, slower than before. He will not slumber. Let the shape of the words do some of the resting for you tonight. The way a familiar hymn can carry a tired voice through a verse, it barely has the strength left to sing on its own. You do not have to hold this truth up by force of will. You only have to let the phrase move through you until it starts to feel less like something you are choosing to believe, and more like something that was simply, quietly, already true before you ever arrived at it. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Behold is an old word for stop and pay attention. This matters more than you are giving it credit for. The psalmist is not content to say it once. He says it again. A whole nation this time, not just one tired traveler on a hill road. He that keepeth Israel, millions of comings and goings, millions of small fears in millions of dark rooms, and still neither slumber nor sleep. If that kind of watching does not wear him down to exhaustion, your one specific worry tonight does not go unnoticed either, crowded out by something bigger, put off until morning. The same attention that holds a whole people holds you, undivided, unhurried, awake. Think for a moment of everyone else lying awake somewhere tonight, in some other dark room, carrying some other version of the exact fear you are carrying. It can feel, at 3 in the morning, like attention is a limited thing, like care has to be rationed out thin across a crowd, and that surely someone else's need is more urgent than yours tonight. But the watching kept over a whole people was never a single lamp that has to be shared, dimmer for every extra person who needs its light. It multiplies rather than divides, a whole for each one, whole, undiminished, entirely yours, even while it is entirely someone else's too. Come back here, to the room where you are lying, to the weight of the blanket and the quiet around you. There is no shift change tonight, no hour where the watch changes hands, and something might slip past unnoticed. The same wakeful care that was here when you turned off the light is still here now, and will still be here when the light comes back. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. Thy keeper, not a keeper for travelers in general, not a keeper shared out thin across a crowd. Yours, assigned to you specifically, the way a shepherd knows one sheep by the way it walks, the way a good doctor remembers your name before your chart. This is not a role God fills for the world at large and hopes it happens to cover you too. It is a role he fills for you, in particular tonight. And then the shade. In a hot, dry country, shade was never decoration. It was the difference between surviving the afternoon and not. A shadow to stand in was relief you could feel on your skin within seconds. So when the psalm calls the Lord your shade, it is not reaching for a pretty image. It is naming something as practical as water, as necessary as breath. Upon thy right hand, not shading you from a distance, from somewhere up and far off, close enough to touch, positioned right beside you, the place where you would expect a companion to stand. Whatever has been beating down on you today, the pressure, the deadline, the argument that would not resolve, has a shadow over it now, and the shadow is not going anywhere. You know the particular comfort of walking beside someone rather than trailing behind them or being pulled along ahead of them, close enough to talk without raising your voice, close enough that your shoulders occasionally brush as you go. That is the distance this verse is naming, not overhead, managing things from some distant control room, not somewhere off to the side, praying for you from a safe remove. At your right hand, matching your pace exactly, close enough tonight in this very room, that there is no real distance left between you and him for anything to slip through. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Both halves of the day named here on purpose. The sun, loud and obvious, the kind of heat you can point to and explain, and the moon, quieter, stranger, the kind of harm people once believed could reach you even while you slept, even in the dark, for reasons no one could quite put into words. Both covered, no gap left open between them. That matters for the fear that only shows up after the lights go off, the kind that makes perfect sense at 11 at night and sounds almost silly by breakfast. You know that fear. Maybe you are feeling its edges right now. The psalm does not pretend it is not real just because it cannot always be explained in daylight. It simply promises that whatever kind of fear this is, the reasonable, nameable kind, or the formless kind that only visits in the dark, both are already covered by the same promise. There is nothing you have to sort into the safe category and the dangerous category before you are allowed to rest tonight. That sorting was never actually your job, even though you have probably been doing it anyway, half-consciously, most nights, running through the list of what is fine and what is not before you can finally let go. Set the sorting down tonight. Sun and moon are already accounted for. Daylight worry and midnight worry are already accounted for. Whatever sits in between them, the ordinary, unnamed, 3 in the morning kind of unease, is accounted for as well. Come back once more to the room where you are lying, to the dark that already has both these things covered, the daylight kind of worry and the midnight kind. Nothing above you and nothing around you gets a free pass to reach you tonight. Sun and moon, the hour you understand and the hour you do not, both named, both covered in the very same breath. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Notice where the psalm moves now. It has been talking about feet and shade and sun, all the outer physical parts of you. Now it reaches further in. He shall preserve thy soul. Because you and I both know it is rarely the body that keeps a person awake at night. It is the deeper part, the part that carries the guilt or the grief or the conversation that never got resolved, turning it over one more time in the dark. All evil, not most of it, not only the manageable parts you already have a plan for, all of it named without qualification and preserved by the same hand that keeps your feet from slipping. Your body rests tonight, and so does the tired, quiet, older part of you underneath it, the part that has been carrying the heaviest of it all along. So if what has been circling in your mind tonight is not really about today at all, if it is older than today, some fear or shame you have carried for longer than you can remember, that too falls under all evil. Nothing you are holding tonight is too old, or too small, or too strange for this promise to reach it. Whatever this promise touches, it does not touch loosely or from a distance. Preserve is a strong word, the kind used for something guarded closely and continually, not glanced at every so often to make sure it is still where it was left. Your soul is not handed a lesser kind of attention, while your body gets the careful part. Both are named in this single verse. Both are held in the same breath, and neither one is left to fend for itself while the other one finally gets to rest tonight. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Going out and coming in, the whole ordinary shape of a life, every departure and every return, every morning you leave this room and every evening you come back to it, not just the dramatic parts, the whole of it, the errands and the small goodbyes and the coming home again, all of it under the same keeping. And then the reach forward, from this time forth, and even forevermore. This promise reaches past tonight, every night after this one, every leaving and returning still ahead of you, already held before you get there. You do not have to extend the watch yourself into all those future days, lying here trying to guard tomorrow before it even arrives. He already has. He already did. You do not have to lie here tonight rehearsing every way tomorrow could go wrong, planning your own protection in advance. The keeping was never something you had to arrange for yourself. It was promised long before tonight, and it reaches long past tomorrow, all the way to evermore. There is a real freedom in a promise built this wide. You do not have to draft a separate prayer for every single day still coming, checking each one off a private list before you are allowed to exhale. You do not have to renew the arrangement every morning, hoping it still holds. One promise, spoken once, stretching from tonight all the way to evermore, already covers every day you have not even thought to worry about yet, and every day after that one too. And now the psalm has been prayed, all 8 lines of it, from the hills at evening to the going out and coming in that never ends. And there is nothing left for you to do but lie here in the dark and let it be true. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. He will not slumber. Come back to that phrase now and stay there. Not a keeper who dozes off after the hard parts of the day are over. Not a watch that thins out toward morning, right when your own eyes are heaviest and your own guard is lowest. Awake now, the same as he was awake at nightfall, the same as he will be awake at first light. Let your breath slow to match a watch that never wavers. Let your body grow as still as something that no longer has to listen for danger, because someone else is already listening for you. The Lord is thy keeper. Let those 4 words move slow through you, over and over, the way a lamp left burning in a hallway does not flicker, does not dim, simply stays. The Lord is thy keeper. There is no hour of this night dark enough to go unwatched, no stretch between now and morning where the keeping thins out, or looks away, or nods off just for a moment. Let that be the last worry you set down tonight, and the last one you need too. Everything after this is only rest. There is no test at the end of this you have to pass before you are allowed to fall asleep for real. No last check of the locks, no final scan of the room, no bracing yourself for whatever might come in the night. That checking was always going to be incomplete anyway, however careful you were, because you cannot actually see everything from where you are lying. He can. He already has. So let the last of your own watching go now, however small a piece of it is still holding on, and hand it over the way you would hand over something you have been gripping too tightly for too long. And your breath is slower now than when we began. In and out, nothing left to watch for, no post left for you to keep, only this keeping, and this quiet, and the God who does not grow tired of it all the long night through. Let every sound you were half listening for tonight go quiet now, one by one, the way a house settles once everyone inside it is finally, truly asleep. You do not have to stay half awake for any of it. He will not slumber, so you finally fully can. This is the last stretch now. Nothing more to think through. Nothing more to keep watch for. Only the psalm said once more, slow. The way a hand rests on a shoulder and simply stays there. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. And you are kept now, and you are watched, and you are not the one who has to stay awake for any of it, and there is nothing left for you to do but sleep. Asleep now, asleep. The watch is set. The keeper does not close his eyes, and you are safe, and you are held, and he is not going anywhere all the long night through. He will not slumber, and there you will lie down, and there you will rest, and there you will sleep, kept and watched and unafraid all the long night through. Rest now. There is nothing more to watch for, and nothing more to listen for either. The keeper is near. The night is quiet, and it will stay quiet, and all is well, and all is kept, and all is at peace. The Lord is thy keeper, and thy shade upon thy right hand, and you are lying down at last, watched and shaded and home. Asleep now, asleep slowly. He will not slumber, and it is well, and it is quiet, and it is at rest all the long night through. The hills you lifted your eyes toward at the start of this psalm are still out there somewhere in the dark, and you do not have to look at them again tonight. Do not have to keep climbing them in your mind, turning them over, wondering what was waiting on the other side. The help you lifted your eyes toward has already come all the way down, out of the hills, into this room, into this bed to you. Whatever part of you was still working tonight, the mind still listing, the soul still turning things over, let it finally clock out. There is no more shift for you to work. There never really was. The watch does not change again tonight. The keeping does not thin or shift or waver toward morning. It stays steady the whole way through. However long the night runs, however far off the morning still is. Sleep now, kept and watched and loved, until the light comes back on its own in its own time and finds you still here, still safe, still under the same wakeful eye that never once looked away. He will not slumber. Sleep now and rest and stay kept from this time forth, and even forevermore.